presents Friday Night Warfare. With your hosts, Austin James and Matt Nelson.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Warfare. My name is Austin James. I'm alongside Matt Nelson, and I think I'm alongside as well Nate Milton. Are you guys here?
I'm here. The social media icon is here, ready for a good show.
Definitely. And the social media icon, Matt Nelson, supposedly, the story going around town is that he's trending worldwide right now as we speak. Is that happening?
That's correct, Austin. I am indeed trending worldwide on Twitter.
Phenomenal. And I believe we're supposed to be joined by Nate Milton, the voice announcer for Pipe Bomb Radio. He's the guy that you hear in the intro saying our names, Austin James and Felix Almeida, Matt Nelson, and so on for all the shows for Pipe Bomb Radio. I don't know where he is right now, but I think he's going to be joining us shortly, in due time. But regardless, how are you doing tonight, Matt? Everything's good?
I am. Everything is wonderful. Everything is phenomenal, and I'm ready for an awesome, phenomenal show tonight.
Great. Any hashtags that we should know about? Any things the fans can be like, oh, hashtag Friday Night Warfare. Hashtag Austin James is the most beautiful thing on earth. Obviously people know that already, but just in case they need a reminder.
Well, I would say before we start the show, hashtag A-List, hashtag Friday Night Warfare is phenomenal.
Great, we can go with that, definitely. Tonight we're going to start off with we're talking about Monday Night Raw. This past Monday Night Raw, this past Monday on Raw, it was really good. I really enjoyed it thoroughly.
Oh.
And it's kind of, I don't know if you feel the same way as me, but it's kind of like almost like an Attitude Era feel. The closest we'll ever get to an Attitude Era again.
Oh, yes, I agree. We are just 2 weeks away from SummerSlam, and each Raw will be phenomenal.
Definitely. And we opened the show this week with, for Monday Night Raw, John Cena came out to talk about who his SummerSlam opponent's going to be at for SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar, of course. And I'm actually getting word that we're going to be joined by Nate Milton within a few minutes. Actually, he's going to be calling in very soon. But anyway, John Cena opened the show talking about Monday Night Raw. With Brock Lesnar, who's going to be his opponent at SummerSlam, and he was basically saying that he knows, like John Cena knows himself personally, that he has a challenge ahead of him that he has to conquer. There's never Brock Lesnar WrestleMania 30, like Paul Heyman constantly reminds us of that Brock Lesnar defeats the Streak, and I'm sure Felix Almeida, of course, knows that as well, which I like to remind him quite often. That's what me and Paul Heyman have in common. Just because Brock Lesnar is a beast. He's the beast incarnate. And if anybody's going to defeat somebody in a monstrous fashion, it's going to be Brock Lesnar. And I think that's probably going to be happening at SummerSlam. What do you think?
I think Brock Lesnar is one of the biggest. I would say Brock Lesnar is one of the biggest competitors in pro wrestling to his age. He is the beast incarnate. He lifted The Undertaker back at WrestleMania 30 this past April for the F5, and I was going to tell you, Austin, that the WWE universe was completely stunned right after the streak ended, and I'm going to tell you this. Also, John Cena. John Cena's getting ready because Brock Lesnar is coming for John Cena's World Championship within 2 weeks coming. This is going to be one epic match. We're going to see two guys that went at it about 2 years ago back at Extreme Rules.
And Brock Lesnar just came back, and remember when Brock Lesnar came back earlier in the year, he didn't come back to necessarily defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. He came back to become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But on the sideline, one of the things he did was defeat Undertaker. So that was just one of the things on his list that weren't even there, to begin with. And, I think if he conquered the Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania, he's definitely probably going to conquer John Cena at SummerSlam and defeat him for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But going forward, after John Cena, talking about Brock Lesnar and everything, eventually Paul Heyman came out and basically said exactly what John Cena was saying, that John, you're going to have a beast that you're going to be facing at SummerSlam. He's not going to be a normal competitor like you faced in the past. This guy is not normal. He's Brock Lesnar, NCAA champion, former WWE champion. I mean, he's basically done a lot. He's done a lot for UFC champion. I mean, John Cena's not going up against a normal a wrestler. He's going up against a monster, and I think John Cena has that kind of wrapped around his head, because he had to do the same exact thing with Extreme Rules 2 years ago. So I think John has an idea of what he has to face, but with a person like Brock Lesnar defeating The Undertaker at WrestleMania, I think that kind of packs on a little bit ego, saying, well, if I beat Undertaker, man, I can beat John Cena. I just have to, take it to that nth degree again. And, Paul Heyman basically reiterated everything that he said, and basically, said that's exactly what's going to happen. And Antonio Cesaro walked out and basically said Paul Heyman, that him and Paul Heyman were still good friends, regardless if he's kind of like Paul Heyman's managing Cesaro anymore. But after that, they had a match between Antonio Cesaro and John Cena, because Antonio came out to defend Paul Heyman, and it was a really good match as well. John Cena, they went back and forth. It was a technical match. It was great. And John Cena defeated Cesaro after hitting an attitude adjustment from off the top rope. So, I thought that was
hey guys,
pretty cool.
Austin.
Guys, can you hear me? Is everybody here?
Austin.
Yes. Can you hear me?
We have Nate on the line.
Oh, yeah, sure. Bring Nate on.
All right.
That's Elio Q-Wins Canella. He does a lot of stuff for Pipe Bomb Radio. All the sound bites and stuff, and puts them together when Nate sends his voice through the email, right, Nate?
All right, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Is everybody here? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you really well, Austin. Can you hear me, Nate?
No.
I can hear you.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Nate Milton's on the line. He
Welcome
is the voice announcer for Pipe Bomb Radio. How are you doing tonight, Nate?
I am doing great. I don't know if I want to use my regular voice or if I should use my announcer voice.
I think it'd be pretty funny if you can use your announcer voice for the entire show, and I'm just kidding. We brought him on and Nate on here tonight because he's actually, really into professional wrestling like everybody else is on Pipe Bomb Radio. We're all insane people. You come on and talk about wrestling for an hour or two. And we're just getting into it. Remember on this past Monday night's episode of Raw, John Cena faced Antonio Cesaro, and I thought it was a really good match. And what do you think, Nate, about Brock Lesnar versus John Cena at SummerSlam? We've heard that John Cena knows what he's going into.
Well, first of all, shout out to Cesaro. I think him and Cena always have good chemistry in the ring. That's an underrated feud in the WWE that I wish we saw more of. But in terms of Brock and Cena, it's a logical feud. I'm kind of looking forward to it because I really enjoyed the last match they had, except for the finish. But anytime you can get John Cena to be serious about an opponent, it's a good thing for me.
Definitely. And right after that, we had Stephanie McMahon, who was actually arrested. Yeah, she was arrested last week on Raw, and because she was charged with battery after basically slapping Brie Bella.
Brie Bella.
Was Brie right? Not Nikki. It's Brie?
Yes, it was Brie Bella.
Brie Bella, and she slapped her, and I think that was deserved that she'll get battered. We haven't seen McMahon get arrested in quite some time, so she actually came back on Raw. She was bailed out, I suppose, by Triple H or somebody in her network, and she was going backstage kind of worried kind of saying that that she didn't that she kind of shown the entire show in parts of it she was ready to apologize to Brie Bella. But what do you guys think about this whole entire thing between Stephanie McMahon and Brie Bella?
Well, let me go first here, Nate. Well, I got to tell you, this is a big feud going on between Stephanie and Brie. I got to tell you, one, you should never slap a fan. But two, this is just business. Because as you see, as we go back to Battleground, Brie slapped Stephanie right in the face. Like the whole world noticed a slap all over the world. And then she quit WWE. She put her job up because she didn't want Daniel to lose his championship. So she had to do something that had to be done. So this past week, just 72 hours later, it was pretty much big. I mean, as you see, a battery charge is really big, and I mean, I feel bad for Brie, but she's in for a match in her life. I mean, you don't mess with McMahon.
Speaking of that match, we're going to talk about it a little bit later. When we come to the ending of Raw, but between AJ and Paige, we've been getting this rivalry. It's really interesting because they're friends. I mean, they seem like friends. I mean, that's what I expect. And then they're kind of enemies. They're frenemies. I don't know what's going on. What do you think about all that type of stuff, Nate? I mean, what's going on between AJ and Paige? Are they both crazy?
Well, I would say most women are, but maybe that's why I'm single. But I really enjoy what's going on with AJ and Paige. I think it's a cool little dynamic that they have going. AJ is just such a great character, and you can see how the Divas division felt really flat for those months that she was gone, and it's just really cool to have her back. And I think her and Paige can do some really cool things in the ring, and I'm interested to see how they keep this thing going.
Without a doubt, and to me personally, I think Paige looks much more comfortable being bad rather than she's being when she was good and kind of carrying on that nice personality, goody two shoes. I think Paige as a badass girl, in the ring, makes her so much better on all levels.
I agree. The only thing is, I think AJ is probably better as a bad girl too. So it's like, who can be the worst girl?
Exactly. And right after that, we had Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, coming out basically stating that Triple H didn't like what everybody was saying about Stephanie McMahon. He kind of expected better from the WWE universe and everybody, that was involved in that. And Stephanie looked like kind of she was crying and stuff and kind of sad about it all, but she looked like she was ready to apologize. Still, we're going to get later into that. We see what happened at the end of the show between her and Brie Bella. The Usos and Dolph Ziggler defeated The Miz, Ryback, and Curtis Axel in a tag team action. I thought the match was off the chain, and it was really hot from start to finish. But it's kind of funny to me because Ryback and Curtis Axel I never saw as it didn't make sense to me when they were brought up in the beginning. But now I think they're kind of really starting to gel together. And the Usos are another great team. And teaming with Ziggler, and remember Dolph Ziggler and The Miz kind of had this rivalry going on. And The Miz, I don't know if Nate, are you a fan of The Miz? Are you one of his? Did you ever ask him for an autograph yet? Supposedly, this kid came up to me and got an autograph from The Miz, and he took it, signed it, and threw it in the trash. I mean, who does that?
Oh, well, I can say I've never really been a misfit, but I do like this new Hollywood character, man. It's kind of reminds me of Hollywood Rock from back in the day, or even a little bit of Jericho during the Monday Night Wars. I really like this attitude. I like the look. I think The Miz is a guy that's a pretty good talker, and he's a decent wrestler. So the Ric Flair thing that he was doing for a while, it wasn't working. He's not a guy that you want to cheer as a babyface, but this really jerky douchebag Hollywood star, I like this Miz. I'm a fan of it.
And Dolph Ziggler is trying to get it one over The Miz. And Dolph Ziggler has never been, I mean, you've seen recently, Dolph has not been in the winning predicaments for the most part. I mean, he's been kind of on the losing side. And I think if this goes right, I think Dolph Ziggler might actually become the Intercontinental Champion once again. What do you think about that, Matt?
Yeah, if you look back at Battleground this 3 weeks ago, Dolph was this close from winning the championship before The Miz tossed him over the top rope. But, yes, Dolph will be a phenomenal Intercontinental Champion. I think what's going to happen, I would say by next week that the confirmation of The Miz versus Dolph at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship.
Definitely. And going after that, and something that I did not expect to happen, because I would think Bo Dallas is, I mean, I believe in Bo Dallas, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. I know Felix Almeida doesn't believe in Bo Dallas. I mean, I think he's delusional. I mean, how is Bo Dallas delusional? I think he's kind of one of the most, inspirational people I've ever seen in my entire life. I think I mean, really, when I'm going through, a jiu-jitsu class or something and want to pull out a win, I think of Bo Dallas and I'm like, I have to believe, and I'm gonna win. And that didn't happen for Bo this past Monday on Raw, because above all people, R-Truth, who I have nothing against him, just R-Truth, I couldn't believe pulling out that upset win by actually defeating Bo Dallas, and the 17-0 streak is done. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, you see, Bo did have a great run with 17-0, but he wasn't mostly on his A game. I mean, you got to make sure, you got to keep your eyes on the move. If you don't get that move right in, then you're going to lose that match quickly as possible. But sometimes I am a Bo leaver, but you got to be on that A game if you want to win matches to keep that streak going.
Definitely. And Nate,
yeah,
are you a Bo leaver?
I think Bo's problem is, A, he couldn't handle the truth, and B, I think he got a little too boastful before the match, and his pride got in the way. But I do like Bo Dallas. I really dig, his inspirational messages, and it's a great message for the kids. And he's got me in his camp. I am a bit of a Bo leaver.
And R-Truth, I think Bo would have had to expect his losing to R-Truth, because remember, singing is Bo leaving, and R-Truth sings before every single match. So I think that was a disadvantage this week on Raw. And speaking of Bo Dallas, just to throw out a little thing for Pipe Bomb Radio, this coming Tuesday night, we're actually having the grandfather of Bo Dallas, Blackjack Mulligan, WWE Hall of Famer, as the guest on the show. So it's going to be interesting. He's always a great guest. I think he's probably the greatest guest we've ever had on in terms of actually interviewing him. I've never had a bad interview, me and Felix, with him. It's so good to listen to Blackjack Mulligan. But after that, we had Lana Rusev and Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter in the ring. They have this really hot rivalry going on. It kind of reminds me of back in the 80s, with there's the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov and such. With Sergeant Slaughter, I think it just reminds me of that whole entire situation with the 80s and, America versus everybody else. And this is kind of what's going on right now between, Jack Swagger and Alexander Rusev, who I've been a fan of ever since day one. I knew without a shadow of a doubt, and I feel this, that I knew Alexander Rusev was going to be something big. And now they're having, a rivalry between Jack Swagger and Rusev, which is probably it's going to accumulate with their match, a 5-match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, I was watching this week and on Raw, and I was thinking, how about do a capture the flag match at SummerSlam like they did a long time ago? That was something phenomenal that we saw. I remember the Hart Foundation. And the Hart Foundation took on, the Hart Foundation took on the team. I believe it was like Team Canada for Team USA, and I thought that was like just a phenomenal match, and I'm looking forward to seeing the other one years
definitely
years later. So that should be something good to see.
And right after that, we had Roman Reigns was scheduled to wrestle Kane earlier in the night, and he didn't. He actually came out for the match and went up against Kane, but the match never actually happened because Randy Orton. And remember earlier in the show, Randy Orton and Triple H kind of had a conversation saying that you're never going to get a title shot with Roman Reigns between you. So Roman Reigns Randy Orton did his best to take out Roman Reigns. I'm going to tell you this, that was ruthless. That's going back. Randy Orton is a viper. He is every single type of snake in this entire world, and all combined into one. He's a dragon, Randy Orton, and he basically took out Roman Reigns and destroyed him, put him through a table, RKO'd twice on the table until it broke. Nate, what do you think about this whole entire thing between Roman Reigns and Randy Orton? Do you see it going forward?
Yes, I believe this will continue to go forward. As we saw this past week on Raw, Randy Orton is a vengeful guy. He's the Viper. He's a striker. He could strike at any moment, so you got to watch your back when you see Randy Orton. Because if you see Randy coming, you got to watch out because he can get you quick.
Definitely. What about you, Nate?
I love aggressive Viper Randy Orton. I like this dude so much better than the whiny heel that was coming out for weeks mad because he wouldn't get his title shot back. You guys seen Godfather 2?
Yes, sir.
I think so, yeah.
He reminds me of Fredo in Godfather 2 for like the last few months. He's like, when is it going to be my turn? It's supposed to be my shot, and he's just so whiny and annoying. But the beatdown that he put on Roman Reigns this past Monday on Raw was classic vintage Orton, to steal a Michael Cole phrase, and I can get behind that feud. And I really want to see Reigns, who is somebody that I've been a fan of for a while, and I want to see Orton, going back to that classic Viper style, and I think you're going to have a good fight between those guys.
Without a doubt. And later in the night, before the main event, we had Chris Jericho versus Seth Rollins that turned out into a no contest because the Wyatts actually came in and attacked Chris Jericho, and really sending a message to saying that we're not standing down, we're not letting you come back for a second and just think you can regain all your glory because we're going to take it away from you. Nate, what do you have to say about the Wyatts? Do they scare you at night? Do you have nightmares?
No, they don't scare me, but I have been in arenas when the Wyatts come out with one of my good friends and his son and his son's best friend, and they're about 10, 11 years old, and I can tell you, man, the Wyatts put the fear of God into these kids. I love Bray Wyatt on the microphone. Harper and Rowan have gotten so much better as a tag team, and you can't go wrong with Y2J. He's one of my all-time favorites, and I'm interested to see what they can do together. I think this is the type of matchup where you have a established veteran and a guy in Bray Wyatt that's just on the cusp of becoming a main eventer, and I think a win over Jericho can put him in that main event spot.
Most definitely. The main event, talk about the main event of Raw, the main thing that happened at the end of the night, Stephanie McMahon and Brie Bella were in the same ring, and let me tell you something, it's very rare that two girls can kind of have a, really like magical moment, I guess. We never see a moment that actually is focused on the girls in WWE that's in the main event, that's like the last moments of Raw, and that was between Stephanie McMahon and Brie Bella. Now, Stephanie apologized to Brie Bella, but Brie wasn't going to accept her apology and wasn't going to take her to court unless she did a few things, and she had a few requests that she would have to give she would have to give her job back. But not only that, I believe what was it? She had to give her job back, and then the other one was that she had to give her a raise, and then the last one was a match against Stephanie McMahon at SummerSlam. to me, when I heard that announcement, I'm like, man, I kind of seen it coming, but now since it's official, we're going to be seeing this happen. Do you think Stephanie has something up her sleeve? Because she said to Brie Bella that she's going to make her, Stephanie's like, I'm going to make you my bitch at SummerSlam. And I don't know where everything's going to go down and how everything's going to be, put out to rest, in the squared circle in SummerSlam. But what do you think is going to be happening at SummerSlam, Nate? What do you think is going to be going down between Stephanie McMahon and Brie Bella?
First of all, I thought it was a really cool segment, and you're right. It's not often that the ladies get an opportunity to shine like that. Second of all, when are we going to learn as fans and as wrestlers that you never trust a McMahon? I don't care if it's Vince or Stephanie or Shane. Just don't trust a McMahon. And you especially don't trust a McMahon Helmsley. That's even worse. But I think it's going to be a really cool match. We haven't seen Stephanie in the ring wrestling for probably since the Attitude Era. Yeah, and so I think it'll be a very cool thing. Brie Bella is a sympathetic figure. She stuck up for her husband and, quit and lost her job. And I really want to see this match. And I think in front of that crowd in L.A., it's going to be a very hot match.
Definitely. Going into, the Monday Night Raw, with the entire Raw from start to finish, I think was really good, and kind of, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, kind of feel like almost like the Attitude Era. Not entirely, but like with all the stuff and all the storylines kind of, evolving and just getting better and more intense, I feel kind of like it's the closest thing that would get to an Attitude Era. Like, it's really, there's a lot of attitude lately, at least.
Well, there's a lot of feel in it because, we're getting closer to SummerSlam, and each Raw coming up, headed to SummerSlam, will feel like the Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm. And going on to main event Tuesday night, WWE Network, we had Dean Ambrose kind of starting off the show and saying that he was going to do, stop at nothing. In recent weeks, you've been seeing this, that Dean Ambrose wants to kill Seth Rollins. I think we can go as far as that he wants to kill him. He wants to go out and try to get him and every single chance he can get. And Seth actually came out. I believe it was Alberto Del Rio that came out first and kind of said that he was ready to put him in that cross arm breaker and defeat him later in the night. And which was what happened. That's what happened later in the night. They had their match. But beforehand we had World Tag Team Champions the Usos versus Ryback Axel, Curtis Axel and Ryback, and Jimmy and Jay defeated them both by the Superfly Splash. And Jay defeated Curtis Axel after, I believe it was Curtis Axel after hitting that move for the 3 count and the win. And this is really funny to me. But there's a tag team in WWE now with Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil named Slater Gator.
Hashtag Slater Gator.
I know. Nate, do you see these guys going forward as tag team champions? Are they ever going to amount to what 3MB was?
I thought 3MB was like 3 musical bands, but let me talk about Slater Gator for a minute.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was asking Nate. I was going to get your opinion right after.
Okay.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that, if you're saying are they going to be a more impactful tag team and a group than 3MB was, where's the bar we're setting with 3MB? The last time they were together, they were feuding with a dude in a little bull suit. So I like Titus, I like Slater, and I hope these guys can do something because, Lord knows the Usos need some opponents in this division.
Definitely. And Slater Gator went on to face Zack Ryder, Tyson Kidd, and they actually, I believe Titus actually, I'm trying to remember how the match went out. Titus threw Zack into the barricade, and then Heath ran up, and then he scoop power slammed Tyson Kidd, and I got the 3 count with a scoop slam, and I was kind of excited to see Tyson Kidd on main event because he's one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. I think he's so underrated. My God, I love how he gets his shot on NXT, and that's why I love NXT, which we're gonna be talking about soon. But I was really excited to see him on main event. Dean Ambrose in the main event went head to head with Alberto Del Rio, and actually defeated Alberto after having all this confrontation between Seth Rollins and kind of getting in the way. I'm trying to remember exactly how he won though. I should have this all together, right? I believe he hit the with Dirty Deeds, and they got the finish over there. But then it ended with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose just battling it out still, and seeing them go 1-on-1 soon. I know it's going to happen, and it's in the future. I mean, it's going to happen, but when? And I think it's going to happen in SummerSlam.
Yeah, I believe Dean Ambrose will probably, definitely. Seth Rollins will take on Dean Ambrose, no doubt. If you look back 3 weeks ago, back at Battleground, they went completely at it. I would say really see their match never started because of what took place in the back. There was a brawl between Dean and Seth in the back. Also out in the arena area towards the ring, and then after that went back at it in the parking lot. We found Dean Ambrose in a car, in Seth Rollins' car. Dean came out of the trunk and attacked Seth, and then Seth went in his car and took off before Dean came to attack him again.
Mm-hmm. And going forward, WWE Superstars on Thursday night, we saw Alberto Del Rio again went head-to-head against Justin Gabriel, defeated him with a cross arm breaker. And in the main event, we saw Zack Ryder and Sin Cara versus Slater Gator again, and kind of making themselves known as a tag team first and foremost on Superstars, and defeated Slater Gator, defeated Zack Ryder, and Sin Cara with a Clash of the Titus on Zack Ryder. Matt, you got TNA Explosion. Up next we have
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, we start off this week's TNA Explosion with Jeremy Borash and Rockstar Spud. JB was talking to Rockstar about the upcoming new British Boot Camp 2 on Challenge TV. And then we go forward to the match of the week, which was by Gunner and Mr. Anderson taking on the Bromans of Jesse Goddard and Robbie E. Mr. Anderson was like in the middle of the ring. He put on the mic check on Robbie E. And we go to the top left where Gunner went on the top rope and does his diving headbutt for the pin and for the win.
Great. And TNA Explosion, actually, you guys can catch it by, I think it's on Daily Motion, you can find it. And it's a weekly thing TNA puts on. They don't really advertise it as their actual show because it's meant for the UK. But NXT this week. NXT is always good. People who don't watch the show. Yeah. Honest to God, man, I feel bad for people who don't watch the show. Do you watch NXT?
I watch it when I can. The only problem is I don't have the network yet, but I'll watch clips online, and I really enjoy NXT's format. But it also comes on, conflicts with my Impact viewing.
Well, yeah, it's on the same. It's on the same time as Impact, and going into it, the number one contender for the NXT Championship, Tyler Breeze, went head-to-head with Angelo Dawkins and defeated him within seconds with the beauty shot. And after he came on the mic and basically stated that his music video, Tyler Breeze's music video, has been nominated for a Grammy Award. That's phenomenal. So proud of Tyler Breeze. That's amazing, right? I know.
He's doing it, bro.
Exactly. And NXT champion Adrian Neville came down and said that he can't delay the inevitable. He's going to have to go head-to-head with Adrian Neville pretty soon. And when that happens, Adrian said that he is going to get the upper hand. After that, NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair defeated Becky Lynch, was bowed down to the king. Becky Lynch from Ireland, from Dublin, Ireland, just hit the scene on NXT and is really so impressive. She kind of reminds me of Lita almost. She's probably the second coming of anything close we can get to Lita. There's never going to be another Lita, but if we can get something close to it, I'll take that over nothing at all, right? And NXT Tag Team Champions, the Ascension, who are undefeated. They've never been beaten even once on NXT. They're the longest reigning champions in NXT wrestling history. They went on to defeat Monster Factory's own Steve Cutler and Matt Miles with the Fall of Man. Mojo Rawley and Bull Dempsey defeated the Mechanics Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Mojo Rawley and Bull Dempsey weren't supposed to be tag team, as a tag team, but they kind of said, well, let's see what's going to happen. Bull was trying to find a tag team partner, so he chose Mojo Rawley. Not really choosing him, but Mojo kind of came out of the shadows to kind of want to represent himself, kind of, and be on that tag team with him, and they defeated him pretty quickly with the Mechanics. In the main event, Adam Rose defeated Tyson Kidd, who had Natalya right by her side, and in the beginning of the match, I couldn't believe this. Adam Rose came out with a lollipop. He was sucking it, and then in the middle of the match, gave the lollipop to Natalya. Natalya put it in her mouth, and the crowd was, oh my God, the crowd was like, Jesus Christ, Natalya, why'd you do that? And Tyson Kidd came out and started yelling at her, and right when he got back in the ring, Adam Rose pulled Tyson out, his pants down, not his pants down, he pulled his pants down, right? No, he pulled his pants and then put him into the inside cradle for the 1-2-3, and he got the win. So, really good NXT, as always. I'm so impressed with the future of with WWE. The future is amazing. You got Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, who all came out of NXT, and those guys are doing so well. But TNA Impact. I know,
hey,
Nate,
before we go to Impact, do you mind if I ask you a question about NXT?
Absolutely.
Oh, because, you mentioned guys like The Shield or guys like the Wyatt or even Bo Dallas that I think are doing really well on the main roster. What do you think is the reason why a lot of these guys, though, don't translate, like a Emma or, Paige took a while for fans to get behind her? Is there something different going on in NXT than, going on, say, Raw, that it's a different translation for the fans?
Well, it kind of depends because, you have, I think that the fans of NXT, that's kind of like a smaller crowd that they might like things that they kind of have different views. And I'm not trying to say that NXT fans are different from any others. They're kind of I don't know.
So almost like the ECW type thing where it's a real close knit group.
Yeah,
and when they get to the WWE, they're like the indie rock band that suddenly becomes mainstream.
Yeah, exactly. They're they're smart with what they like and they know what they don't like. Like they really hated Bo Dallas, but who's doing, I think, doing really well on the main roster. But translating from going from NXT to the main roster, if you see with Adam Rose, he was big on NXT. On NXT, people loved him, and he goes to the main roster and is not doing as good as I thought he would do. So I think it's all different. I think you never really know what to expect with these guys who are just being put on the main roster. Like Alexander Rusev wasn't on NXT for that long, and he's put on the main roster and doing really well. So I don't know. I honestly don't, Nate. I don't know what kind of decides on how good they're gonna do. Maybe it's because it's a bigger audience. But TNA Impact, I know TNA. Nate, you're a big fan of TNA. I'm sure I seen somewhere that you put TN8, like TN8, like TNA ATE, like your name. And you're a big fan of TNA, right?
Nate, are you with us?
I think we lost Nate.
Yeah,
no, it's close. Yeah, I think we lost Nate. If anybody can get him back on with us, that'd be awesome. But in the meantime, Matt Nelson, take over Impact. What happened? Tell us what happened.
I sure will. Okay, we start the night with match 1 for the tag team title. We start the show with the Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards of the Wolves take on the reunited Jeff Matt Hardy. And I've got to tell you, Austin, this match was definitely phenomenal because it really stole the first half of the show because it was totally extreme as the Wolves defeated the Hardys by pinfall and retain the tag team title. Now we go to match 2, the X Division qualifying match. It was DJ Zito of the Bromans taking on Manic versus Low Key. This match was also phenomenal. because there was a back-to-back high flying in there, and your winner was Low-Key. He advances to next week. In match 3 for the X Division qualifier match, it was another phenomenal match. Sonata taking on Crazy Steve versus welcome back to Impact, Brian Cage. Brian Cage was so phenomenal with this power slam off the turnbuckle. And the winner of this match was Sonata. Sonata advances to next week. We go to match 4 for the X Division qualifying matches. Who advances to next week? Samoa Joe took on Homicide versus Tigre Uno. Also a phenomenal match. Back-to-back high flying like the past matches were. It was definitely phenomenal. Samoa Joe puts on the Coquina Clutch for the submission and advances. Puts on his finisher and advances by 10. And he advances to next week. Now we go to your main event of the evening. It was for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Last week on Impact, Kurt Angle was in the ring with Bobby Lashley and Austin Aries. Austin Aries cast in his X Division Championship for this match for the TNA World Heavyweight title. If this was a big match between Lashley and Aries, and I want to tell you, this match was definitely phenomenal. Went back and forth throughout the night, throughout the match. But Lashley came up with some big offense, and he retained his World Heavyweight Championship as we close out that phenomenal destination.
It was really good. And I think TNA is kind of getting a step on how they kind of have to handle, different parts of the show. Bringing the X Division back is something that's needed to be done and needs to be done officially. I mean, they kind of start to bring it back, and they just let loose of it for a second. And I think they need to. They're starting off right, bringing people back like Low-Key, because I think it's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and has been for quite some time. Brian Cage is also impressive. He's been a former guest on Pipe Bomb Radio. But I mean, the match between the Hardys and Dave Richards and Eddie Edwards for the tag team titles, I thought was one of the best matches in the TNA's had in quite some time. The magic was there, and we're going to be seeing an even more magical type of match within a couple of weeks. I think next month we're going to be seeing Team 3D go head-to-head against the Hardy Boys, go head-to-head against the Wolves in a sort of three-way tag match. It's going to be off the chain, and I'm excited for it. But Bobby Lashley versus Austin Aries main event was actually a really good match. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, and both of them put on a really good show, and which ultimately led to Bobby defeating Austin Aries and retaining his TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, I gotta tell you that the X Division is definitely one of my favorites. A good friend of mine told me that the X Division is totally her favorite, and so is mine. I mean, Impact Wrestling is definitely my favorite. I watch it every week. I watch it every week, every day, every night, basically. I'm probably going to go to Impact in my future, and I'm going to start with the X Division. Nice.
And for SmackDown, we're starting with SmackDown tonight. Real good show. I thought it was really a nice show from start to finish. We kicked it off with Cesaro versus Jack Swagger, and former Real Americans. And I think we're being joined by Nate again, right? Nate, do you hear us?
Nate, can you hear us?
Yes. What's going on, guys?
Oh, sorry, what happened?
I think much like the Spike TNA contract, Skype decided not to renew my contract, and it kicked me off for a bit.
Yes, that's great. That's nice. That's some of the things TNA is going through right now, too. Wow. You guys have a lot in common. Well, we're just talking about Jack Swagger and Cesaro, a former Real Americans colliding in a match on SmackDown. And we saw that Swagger actually defeated Cesaro, surprisingly. I was surprised at us. Via submission ankle lock out of nowhere, because Zeb was basically telling Jack throughout the match what to do. And when Jack kind of realized that, Zeb Coulter knows what he's talking about, he put that ankle lock right on within a second and defeated Antonio Cesaro to get the win. And you guys liking how this entire thing between Jack Swagger and Alexander Rusev is going? I mean, Nate, what do you think about this?
I love it. I think it's a throwback, like you guys were talking about earlier, to the old Russia versus USA storylines. And who would have thought that Jack Swagger would end up being one of the biggest baby faces in the WWE? I love Zeb. He's great on the mic. The whole We the People thing. Lana and Rusev. We were talking about the guys coming up from NXT. They have really impressed me, and it's not just because she looks good in a miniskirt. She's really great on the microphone, and Rusev is a beast, man. And I like the interaction that Swagger and Rusev have in the
Boris.
ring. With Boris and Natasha.
Yeah, and right after that, we saw Randy Orton in the middle of the ring, still complaining about Roman Reigns. Randy's dead set on basically destroying Roman Reigns and wanting to get him out of the way so that he doesn't have to worry about him because he wants his title match. He wants to be in the main event picture. And he basically came out and said that he blamed Roman Reigns for his misfortune. And we actually had a recap of the Randy Orton sneak attack from this past Monday on Raw that we talked about. And Randy's not done. He's only getting started with Roman Reigns. I can tell you this. Monday night on Raw, this coming Monday night, we're just going to see the beginning. Even last week wasn't even the beginning of what we're going to be seeing between Randy Orton and Roman Reigns. Right after that, we saw R-Truth in a rematch against Bo Dallas, or Bo Dallas in a rematch against R-Truth. And still, Bo Dallas couldn't pick up that win because he actually lost R-Truth via DQ because right after he was beating R-Truth, to a pulp until the referee was like, man, you need to get off of him. Gave him 5 seconds, and he didn't want to get off, so it was a disqualification. Bo Dallas was angry, and then he smiled, and then he had that insane smile that Bo Dallas has, and basically said that everything was okay, and he could win if Bo leaves, and that's true. I haven't actually seen it. I think he's actually still undefeated, in my opinion. I didn't see that match on Monday Night Raw. Even though I talked about it, I didn't actually see it, so I have to, I don't believe it. And I'm probably not going to believe it.
Well, which one are we on? Are we on the R-Truth one?
Yeah, R-Truth versus Bo Dallas from SmackDown.
Yeah, well, let me talk to you guys about this because I did see this tonight. Okay, towards after the match, I was not very happy with Bo Dallas' attitude because he really put his anger out on R-Truth. R-Truth, let me tell you about R-Truth. R-Truth is a phenomenal athlete. He has been in NWA TNA when he made his TNA debut. He's so phenomenal. I love the way he comes down. He's on the mic doing his thing. Get rowdy. Get rowdy. And he does that. Everybody get broth. He does that. And now he does What's Up coming down to the ring when he came to WWE. And actually, also K-Clip was so phenomenal when you go back.
Well, R-Truth has been around for a long time. People don't really give him the credit he deserves. He's been around. From WWE, he's been, I think, since 1999.
Yeah, that's when I got my WWE start watching. I started high school that year.
Yeah, we actually saw on SmackDown right after Bo Dallas versus R-Truth, AJ versus Rosa Mendes. And if you guys think that Rosa Mendes would have a chance against AJ, you are sorely mistaken because within a second, not even a minute of the match even starting, AJ defeated her with the Black Widow, forcing Rosa to tap. And Rosa's actually going to be a total diva on this coming season, which, it doesn't make any sense to me. I think there are enough of them running around WWE at this moment. But Dean Ambrose was put in the same position that Roman Reigns was a few weeks ago, against Kane and Randy Orton in a handicap match. But this time it was Dean Ambrose versus Kane and Seth Rollins, which didn't really, end as smoothly as Dean wanted it to go. because Kane and Rollins both defeated Ambrose after disqualification on Ambrose's part because Ambrose went outside, took the steel chair, and hit Kane across the back, forcing the DQ on Ambrose and giving Seth and Kane the win. And after that, we saw, and this entire thing has been happening for a couple of months between Fandango, Summer Rae, and Layla. We saw Fandango versus Diego of the Los Matadors, and with Diego had Layla and Summer Rae on each shoulder, or around her waist, and kind of taunting Fandango, saying, we don't need you, man, we're okay without you. We're gonna, do our own thing for a second, which has been not working out in Fandango's favor because Diego picked up a win against Fandango with a pinfall because he was distracted. So right after that, we saw Alberto Del Rio versus Dolph Ziggler, and Del Rio defeated Ziggler by submission. Of course, Arm Breaker always gets the job done because The Miz was actually a ringside in commentary, and Dolph got distracted, like Fandango did in the recent match, and that's how Alberto picked up the win. And in the main event, we saw Chris Jericho versus Eric Rowan, and I could not believe how good of a match it actually was. I didn't really see them having a good match because you had this really tall guy, Eric Rowan, against Chris Jericho. And not taking anything away from both of them because, they had an awesome match that saw Chris Jericho picking up the win against Eric Rowan. And now at SummerSlam, Eric Rowan is not going to be allowed at ringside. So that was the whole stipulation with tonight's, main event match between Chris Jericho and Rowan. If Chris Jericho would have picked up the win on Eric Rowan, he wouldn't be able to be at ringside with Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam. So what do you guys think about tonight's SmackDown? Did you guys enjoy it? Did there's anything that stuck out to you that I didn't really mention?
Well, yeah, I was going to talk about this match right here. Well, as we saw that Luke Harper was ejected in this match.
Yeah, you're right.
Luke Harper was ejected in this match because of the altercations. And plus, I was going to mention, at SummerSlam, Eric Rowan and Luke Harper both should be banned from ringside for this match to be fair one-on-one with Jericho versus Wyatt. It has to be fair and square so we can have a good match between them.
Definitely. And finishing off the night, we're going to talk about Ring of Honor. And we're all fans of Ring of Honor, I believe. If you aren't watching Ring of Honor, especially now during this time, they're getting they're getting really big. They're taking a lot of steps for their future success. Recently making their debut on pay-per-view with Best in the World a couple of weeks ago. And Ring of Honor 2 days ago, the first match of the night we saw the Monster Mafia, Ethan Gabriel Owens versus, what's his name, Josh Alexander versus Red Dragon, the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. And I believe that's just wholeheartedly, I think Red Dragon's probably the best tag team in the world today. Man, I don't know about you, Nate, but they're pretty damn good at what they do.
I believe you forgot Ethan Gabriel, bro.
Yeah, I was talking to Nate for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, for Red Dragon, what do you think about him? I think we might have lost Nate again.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Nate, you're back with us. I'm sorry.
What's going on, fellas? I am back.
Well, I'm sorry. What I was going to say, Ring of Honor, on a few days ago, we saw the Monster Mafia, Ethan Gabriel Owens, and Josh Alexander versus the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions Red Dragon. And I asked you, what do you think about Red Dragon? As a tag team, I think they're pretty damn good at what they do.
Oh, man, I'm a fan of tag team wrestling, always have been, and I have to say that there's some really good tag teams out there. We talked about the Wolves earlier, the Hardys, the Usos, Slater-Gator.
Yeah.
I love Red Dragon, though. I think, of course, the Briscoes is one of my all-time favorite tag teams, but I think that Ring of Honor does tag team wrestling probably consistently better than any other company right now. And Red Dragon is just a phenomenal team. I think they complement each other well, and I think that they have the potential to really, kind of revitalize tag team wrestling on a mainstream level.
Definitely. And they actually proved that they're the best tag team in the world because the Monster Mafia thought that they can take him down, and obviously that didn't happen because they didn't know that they were chasing the Dragon. Because that's exactly what happened because they defeated, the Red Dragon defeated Monster Mafia after hitting Ethan Owens with Chasing the Dragon. That suplex turned into a kick to the skull, which always gets them to 1, 2, 3. In the finish, and they won. Right after we saw the TV debut of former NFL player, former guest in Pipe Bomb Radio just a few weeks ago, Moose. He actually went one-on-one against Hakeem Zane, and I couldn't believe how athletic. I mean, obviously he was in the NFL, so he had to be athletic. But I mean, in the wrestling ring, I didn't know if he was going to be that as good as he was. And he actually defeated him within minutes with a spear, but his spear wasn't like everybody else's. He was smart because he knows that everybody's doing spears now. I mean, you see Roman Reigns doing it, and you see a couple other people doing it as well. But when he spears somebody, he spears them and then flips, like he turns it into a flip. He spears them and then Moose flips over. It's pretty cool. In the main event of the night, in a 4-corner survival match, we saw the Decade, Zombie Princess Jimmy Jacobs and Mr. Ring of Honor, Roddy Strong with Adam Page and T.D. Thomas versus War Machine, Hanson and Rowe versus #Den Boys, the Briscoes, Jay and Mark versus Bad Influence, the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, and Kazarian. And that match was huge. It was such a good match. I mean, that's what you expect from Ring of Honor, right? Always the matches, and especially with all those teams, the new team that just kind of started fading into the broadcast. Hanson and Rowe, War Machine, comprised of Hanson and Raymond Rowe, two guys that are monsters. I mean, I knew when I seen Ray Rowe, who's actually from Texas. He kind of wrestled around here and with the NWA shows and such. And once I seen the first glimpses, I'm like, that guy's gonna do something huge. Same thing with Hanson. I knew Hanson was gonna go around and kick some ass, which he's definitely done. But the main event shown that the winners were, and now the number one contenders to the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, Bad Influence, Kazarian Daniels, with the best moonsault ever on, I believe it was Jimmy Jacobs. So that's your Ring of Honor report we got for tonight. A great week of wrestling.
Absolutely, a great week of wrestling. And to go back to the tag team scene in Ring of Honor, I mean, we talk about the Briscoes, one of my favorite tag teams. Bad Influence, if you never really got a chance to watch them in TNA, Kaz and Daniels are just so good in the ring, and they're entertaining, and I think that matchup with Red Dragon is going to be off the chain, off the meat hook, as Taz would say back in the day. But, I mean, just a great tag team scene, and it's good that, guys that were underused in TNA, like Kazarian and Daniels, are getting a chance to shine in another company.
I mean, not only that, they entered at the right time. They entered at a time where Ring of Honor is going on pay-per-view. They have this deal with the broadcasters that have been on TV for a few years now. And, I mean, the Ring of Honor is really getting out there more so than they ever have been in the past. I mean, with pay-per-view, TV, AllRateWrestling.com if you guys want to check out all their shows. You become a ringside member. They always have those different price range for it, and something that's affordable for everybody. And if you want to watch Ring of Honor before anybody else on Mondays, you can become a ringside member. But if you want to wait to watch it on Thursday nights, they post it up for free, and you can see all the Ring of Honor action. And it never fails to entertain, truly. But like I said, great week of wrestling. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Main Event Explosion, Ring of Honor, Main Event. We covered it all. And same thing we're going to do next weekend. And Nate, I definitely want to invite you back. Anytime you want to come back on Friday Night Warfare, you're definitely welcome. Because I think your voice is amazing. I always felt this that I'm like, how the hell does this guy do this? His voice sounds like I don't know. There's something magical about it. It's kind of like my the tuna and tomato Subway sandwiches that I get every other day.
Funny story real quick before we get out of here. My ex-girlfriend was always telling me, like, you should get into voiceover work because you have a really cool voice, and, it's just You know, I think I love talking about wrestling. I love talking about sports, and you know, anytime I can get a chance to use this voice to talk about stuff that I like, you know, I'm gonna use it, man. So thank you for having me on, and it's I'll definitely be happy to come back on anytime, fellas.
Not a problem. And thanks everybody.
Good to meet you.
Thanks, man. Good to meet you too.
So, man, thank you so much, everybody, for being part of Friday Night Warfare. For Matt Nelson, the social media icon, Nate Milton, the voice of Pipe Bomb Radio, and Austin James, probably the most beautiful person you'll ever see in your entire life. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, supposedly Matt Nelson says that I'm trending worldwide on Twitter, which, I mean, you know, I'm not going to check. I'm just going to assume that he's telling the truth. I'm just kidding. So thank you so much, everybody, and join us next week on another edition of Friday Night Warfare.